The one that rounds them up and
Rounds them up. That's right.
gets the things they need to know.
Gets
together.
things done too.
Pardon?
And gets things done too.
Yeah, yes.
How many members of the caucus?
There's 52.
52.
It's pretty big, yeah.
And a lot of growth this year.
Yeah, we had Mr. Mufume from Baltimore join. We had Victoria Sparks join from, as you know, the Ukrainian American
Yes, yes.
member of Congress. The caucus was very thrilled, as Mr. Quigley said, to welcome President Zelensky to the Hill for his first trip to Congress. And I think what's important, as Kathy she'll explain when she gets here, for you to know is that the Congress is, we're not a parliament. The government doesn't sit up, on top of us. We're actually separate and an equal branch, but a co-equal branch of government. And over the years has worked with the executive branch to support Ukraine and sometimes worked against the executive branch to make sure that Ukraine's security and democratic progress is prioritized. So we've increased the security assistance last year by 25 million. This year, in the appropriations bill, was increased by 10 million. So we'll see what at the end of the year what that looks like. We've created like a State Department program to help veterans, to support the Veterans Ministry. I know on Nord Stream 2, which I know Bob follows very closely, we have actually passed in the House, over the years, the Congress has passed sanctions on Nord Stream 2. I don't know, are you following that? Okay, good. And so then, the administration, Ms. Captor, actually traveled with then Vice President Biden to Ukraine. There's a photo of them there with Senator McCain. That was Poroshenko's inauguration. But some of the staff under Biden is very focused on China, and so that's why they made the decision to waive sanctions on Nord Stream 2. But in but in the House, we voted to sanction the pipeline. This time with no ability for the administration to waive sanctions. So we're hopeful that the Senate will take that up as well.
Yeah.
And optimistic that they will, actually.
Are you good?
I think Senator Shaheen, they just had a briefing on Nord Stream 2, the SFRC did, and Senator Shaheen came out from that saying she's still determined to prevent the operationalization, which to me means that
Yeah.
she's going to do some saying. The hard part was in the House, actually. The Senate, because Menendez is actually, Meeks is like a little less. It took a little bit of finagling on the House. So.
Well, I haven't said this to this group, but I've written, and you may have even seen it, that it's traditionally administrations, Republican, Democrat, they oppose things like that don't give them the flexibility to do things. Whether they agree with it or not, they want flexibility as a branch of government. And but this administration waived those, and so the administration certainly works against in the House having that put in there. But Senator Chairman Menendez on the Senate side has been pretty firm on this all along, so it probably will stick in the Senate.
Yeah, did you hear Damian Murphy?
Oh yeah,
is now
I'll
staff.
deal with him quite a bit.
He's staff director now.
When did that happen?
Last night.
Oh, I was going to say, how did I know?
He's staff director of he's now been named staff director of the committee, the whole committee, which is actually a huge deal.
Yeah.
So we'll look forward to working with him.
And the staffer he's talking about, Damon, is very, very aware of Ukraine and the issues in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Follows it very closely. So.
Yeah. Do you want to sit down?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm happy to take more pictures. Or
Okay.
maybe bring some water if it's needed.
I don't know. Did you want water or coffee or anything? It's fine.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Would it be correctly to ask Mrs. Captor to give one book to President Joe Biden?
Sure. She'd be open.
So I can ask her.
Sure.
It will be okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I will do it.
She gave a book to President Zelensky on veterans issues. I don't know if you saw that. She gave President Zelensky at the end of a meeting from her district. We actually have a very big veterans hospital named after a former congressman. And we actually have Ukrainian doctors who are helping, Ukrainian American folk doctors that are helping to serve American veterans. And so they came together and created this association and have then written this book or translated this book into Ukrainian. And so Dr. Prochurko and others. And so they care very deeply about Ukrainian veterans. And so anyways, Ms. Kaptur gave that book from her district to President Zelensky and said, "Did you print many more?" I don't know what he did with it. He probably gave it to one of his aides, but anyways.
Well, our foundation was involved in presentation of the book in Ukraine
Oh, really?
At the beginning of this year, and we assisted in getting this book in Ukraine to association of.
You should sit down. Why don't you sit down? Not there. Sit in that other one. Pull up that other chair. Yeah, that one we can save for Marcy. I think.
Oh, I was gonna get up.
Oh, were you? No, that's fine. I think Victoria Sparks might come too, actually.
Great.
More than 500 copies of this book were distributed with our assistance to our law enforcement, defense, military institutions. So we all of them, with a light injury, brain injury, written.
Yeah.
Nick, one thing, sorry, I didn't interrupt, but we had a get-together this morning with the whole group and some representatives of the Friends of Ukraine Network. And what we have done is, you're aware of the National Security Task Force and its recommendations.
Yes, I am.
We've now formed a subcommittee that Deborah Kagan is going to, on veterans issues.
Great.
Under the national security. So we were conversing with them and getting their ideas of the things they most need and so forth. And I'm going to want to follow up with you with the insertion in the State Department of the veterans thing, because Deborah will want to make contact there.
Yeah, it's a program that's Deborah should reach out to, it's being run by IREX, one of those Beltway groups, and the person that's running it, her name's Christy Hoffman.
Well, we can.
Yeah, we can chat off on, but right now the State Department is implementing a program to create an e-registry for the veterans industry, because now they don't have even records of where the veterans are. So that's one of the steps that the U.S. government's trying to support for Ukraine. Anyways, so I guess it'd be interesting to know, like, what is it like as a veteran in Ukraine right now? What is it? You know, do you feel that the Ukrainian people are? I don't know what the attitude of the Ukrainian people, how you're treated by the government. That'd be very interesting to know.
I'll start the response and get everybody going. Deborah asked that question, and one of the responses, because she was equating like our Veterans with Disabilities Act, Americans with Disabilities Act, and so forth, and the answer was they have the laws, they're just not enforced.
It's a problem with Ukraine often.
Yeah, we discussed this morning, and members of our team presented their views on different areas of veterans' status and attitude in society.
And it signals to members different things, votes and
They're
various things.
now in session. They've gaveled in.
So there was, at the same time, they are not implemented properly. There is lack of resources to support many needs of veterans. So lack of maybe motivation, bureaucracy. Then also even some political issues been mentioned by Mikola, that prosecutions of some veterans also is quite a sensitive issue, and veteran community is trying to understand is it a political issue or is it just normal. Then we have a number of wounded and PTCR, post-traumatic stress disorder guys.
Yeah.
And there is an issue of suicide, for example, and also it needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have very vibrant and mature civil society with a lot of ideas and small projects like us, we just small project, trying to do their best to support the comrades and friends. And because of that, Ukraine is very active and creative.
Oh, good.
Keeping in touch with veterans, but at the same time, for example, in our case, our foundation, we are trying to rehabilitate, first of all, heavy wounded amputees or blind soldiers, and not easy to reach all of them,
Yeah.
but potential candidates, because many lives in villages and small cities, they don't know that such opportunities exist, and so we have to find how the best to reach them. And if we reach them, we succeed to get them out of this depression. So almost 50 people we processed during 5 years through our projects. So all of them become active in their life, all of them become members of the society. Some of them, Vadim Sviridenko, full amputee, no legs, no arms. He ran 10K here. Mariupol Marathon in 2016, and now he is a commissioner of the president of Ukraine on rehabilitation of wounded participants of the war, as an example. Another one, he is active in Cherkasy, trying to get the position of mayor there. Amputee, no leg, no arm.
Yeah.
One guy was blind, 25 years old. He lost his eye.
Sir, please don't stand up, don't stand up. Hey, Nicholas. Robert? All right, great to see you. Sorry to be quite late. How do you do?
Fine, thank
It's
you.
very
Thank you
good.
for
Thank you
having
for
us.
coming today, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I won't make you repeat everything. Good
Nice to
morning.
meet you.
Good morning.
Микола Кур'янов.
Good morning. How do you say it? Den?
Добрий
Добрий
день.
день.
Den.
День.
Den. Okay.
Вадим Городенко,
You have it.
Юрій Дуденко, вітаю, greetings, вітаю.
Thank you. Please sit down.
Mr. Quigley was here earlier.
Yes, I was told. So, do you mind if we take your picture?
Yeah.
Do you mind if we take your picture? Has she? Okay.
Oh,
If we want to look up,
we got another design.
Can we
take off the mask. If we want to actually keep,
Let's get one with the mask on. Do we mind if we just keep one with the mask on real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then we will, there we go. All right, on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, now one more
And
bow.
one, please.
You know,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Take your hand, put your right hand on
All right, I'm gonna take one with this phone, and then the other with the other phone. All right, just 1 second.
Thank you, Chris, thank you.
Perfect. All right, thank you all.
Okay.
Вийшло там щось?
So what do you think it would be important for us to cover that you haven't already?
I was talking to them about how we increase the security assistance. I was talking about meeting with President Zelensky. You presented him the book from the Dr. Pacherko. They were just starting to talk about the situation for veterans in Ukraine. I think that would be worth repeating for the
And I think for
conversation.
me, it's important to know for veterans in Ukraine, what more can we do and where?
Mhm.
We received a letter back from the ministry about something they were going to do, but is there anything we could do like at Yavriv or somewhere that would be faster and where we could help the veterans in Ukraine? We don't get much representation